Ecuador, yes, Ecuador, that beautiful country that's situated on the equator, has amazing cities. And it's truly hard to find a bad one. But which city is the best city in all of Ecuador? Well, if you guessed Quito, Cuenca, Galápagos, or Guayaquil, then no, it's none of those. Today, I'm here to tell you that the best city in all of Ecuador is this one right here. Welcome to Portoviejo. If this is your first time hearing about Portoviejo, then the main things you need to know are that it is the capital city of Manabí. The name Portoviejo means old port, and it is also known as the city of the real tamarindos. Portoviejo has a population of a little over 320,000 people, or 320,000 plus Portovejenses, which is how people from Portoviejo are called. And there are 4 reasons, which I call the 4 pillars, as to why Portoviejo is the best city in all of Ecuador, which we're going to talk about today. So let's get started. Woo! To start with, let's talk about the first pillar, which is proximity. And no, I don't mean the proximity of me to the camera or how close I am to getting rid of this thing on my forehead, which, now that I think about it, let me take a step back. When I'm talking about proximity, what I mean is how close everything in a city is and how easy everything is to reach without the city needing to be the size of a potato chip. Most of the different parishes that Portoviejo has to offer are at maximum an hour away, and the locations within the city are much, much closer. To give you an idea of how close things are in Portoviejo, let's use my favorite or most frequented places as an example. I can get to Rotonda Park, which is where I'm at right now, from my house in under 5 minutes. I can get to work in less than 8 minutes. I'm pretty much only 12 minutes away from my favorite encebollado place. If I need groceries, then the market or any supermarket that I'd want to go to would only take me about 10 minutes to reach. And of course, when visiting friends, they're only about 10 minutes away. In fact, let's do a test. My best friend is going to tell us about the second pillar. So we have to go to where he is right now. How long will it take to reach my best friend? Well, leave your prediction in the comments section and let's find out. All right, so in order to make this work, I have put on my jacket. I'm going to put you in my jacket and you're going to watch as I drive over to where my friend is. So yeah, let's do this. Look at this montage. So cue epic, I don't know, relaxing background music as we go over to where my friend is. And if the camera moves, I apologize. Okay. Be free. All right, so how long did that take? I assume around 5 to 6 minutes, maybe less. Let's go say hi to the bro. Bro. Entonces, bro, cuéntanos, ¿cuál es el segundo pilar de por qué Portoviejo es la mejor ciudad en todo Ecuador?
Ok, desde mi punto de vista, el segundo pilar, y no menos importante que el primero, es la calidad de la gente. Aquí en Portoviejo la gente es muy amigable, muy amable con la gente de afuera. Le gusta mostrarle su ciudad, sus costumbres, su comida. Es más, no sé si te acuerdas cuando estuvo Mar aquí, un amigo tuyo,
sí.
de Estados Unidos, lo llevamos a recorrer todo Manabí, conoció las playas, le dimos a comer tonga, le dimos encebollado, que le encantó el encebollado, le explicábamos hasta cómo era la juerga en la noche, la salida en la noche, salimos un rato con el man. Y uno como local se siente feliz de simplemente que el man disfrute, ver lo que le está conociendo. Y creo que ese sentimiento y esas ganas de que el mundo conozca un poco de Portoviejo y de Manabí lo tenemos casi todos los manadas. Nos gusta eso, si es extranjero o si es de fuera de la ciudad, hacerle conocer un poco de nuestra cultura, nuestra ciudad y todo eso.
Esa experiencia con Mark fue algo increíble.
Saludos a Mark.
Mark!
Que estés.
Hello everyone, Mini Ace here, and I'm interrupting this part of the video because I found some people from Portoviejo and from other cities in Ecuador who also have some things to say about people from Portoviejo.
Portovejenses are friendly and lovely people.
Con cualquier persona con la que hables siempre te va a hacer sentir en casa y con un cariño, y ya.
La gente de Portoviejo me parece muy chévere, muy bacana. Por lo general somos personas que agarramos confianza con otra gente, entonces es muy bonito hacer amigos de todos lados. Las personas de Portoviejo son muy amables, cálidas y les encantan ayudar a las personas.
The people is kind of friendly. When you're here in Portoviejo, you can say, hey, hello amigo, or hello friend. And they consider it a pana. Pana is like informal language to say, hey amigo.
Here in Portoviejo, there are some kind people. There are so many people who treat you so respectfully, and if you come here, they will treat you so nicely, so good, and you feel like warm and home.
Bueno, desde lo que puedo decir con las personas que me he encontrado y con las que he convivido de aquí Portoviejo, son unas personas muy amables, divertidas, con las que he podido compartir muchos momentos, tanto felices como malos, así que si en algún momento yo he necesitado ayuda, ellos me la han brindado y de la misma manera yo lo he hecho con ellos.
The people are funny and fun.
La gente en Portoviejo es muy amable y siempre está predispuesta a ayudar a los demás.
The people in Portoviejo are hospitable.
People in Portoviejo are very kind.
Los portovejenses son solidarios y siempre estarán allí cuando más lo necesites.
And now, back to your regularly scheduled program.
Pero aún faltan dos pilares para lo que es la ciudad de Portoviejo y la razón por la cual es el mejor. Yo estoy seguro que tú sabes cuál es uno de esos dos pilares.
Sí, a ver, ¿lo puedo adivinar? Para mí, uno que tiene que entrar de ley, seguro, la gastronomía.
La gastronomía.
La comida es excelente.
La comida de Portoviejo es la mejor de todo el país y especialmente 3 platos, los cuales vamos a ver en unos minutos. It is impossible to talk about Portoviejo and not mention its food, which is absolutely why it is the third pillar. In general, Manabí is extremely well known for its amazing dishes, but Portoviejo is the undisputed king when it comes to all of these dishes. Let me put it to you this way. It's actually harder to find a bad dish in Portoviejo than it is to find a good one. Now, if I had to choose 3 dishes that Portoviejo absolutely dominates in, they would be, of course, number 1, the encebollado. Number 2, ceviche. Okay, I had to stop the video because this ceviche, this one right here, is the best freaking ceviche that I have ever had. In fact, it's so good that 1, I'm here stopping the video to tell you about it instead of just show you it, and 2, I actually think it goes head to head with some of the best encebollados that I have ever tried. And that's saying a lot because I am team encebollado. I ate the ceviche at Cuno Seafood, which is only located in the city with the best gastronomy. Portoviejo, of course. The ceviche is the Manaba ceviche, and if you haven't tried it, you definitely have to try it. And now, back to your scheduled broadcast. And third, we have the bolón. And keep in mind that this means two things. The first is that even if these dishes aren't originally from Portoviejo, they're actually made better in Portoviejo than they are in the original city that they're from. And the second thing that this means is that most, if not all places in the city of Portoviejo that sell any of these three dishes will sell them in a good, if not amazing form. That is to say, you can't go wrong trying any of these three dishes in any restaurant in Portoviejo. That's not to say that any other dish that aren't one of these three dishes is a bad option. By no means is that the case. But if you want to have the most amazing experience when it comes to the culinary delights that Portoviejo has to offer, then you definitely want to seek out an encebollado, a ceviche, or a bolón if you stop by the city, because you're always guaranteed to have a good time eating one of these three dishes. And you want to know what makes the dishes and the food in general in Portoviejo even better? It's the fact that it's linked to the fourth pillar of why Portoviejo is the most amazing city. And it's the pillar of cheapness. But let me explain what that means. And in order to do that, let's head home after I finish eating this. So, let's talk about cheapness. I think as a foreigner, it's relatively easy to argue that most, if not all, of Ecuador is much cheaper than wherever you're at or from. And in that same way, I'm pretty sure that there are tiny villages in Ecuador that you can live in that would be much cheaper than living in Portoviejo. But when it comes to the pillar of cheapness and how cheap it is to live in or visit Portoviejo, you have to take into account all the benefits that come with living here or visiting this amazing city. We just mentioned the food, which is unquestionably better here in Portoviejo than it is in most, if not all, cities in Ecuador. And it's certainly cheaper as well, or at least fairly priced for the amazing taste that it has. I'm very sure that you can find a cheap encebollado in Quito, but trust me, you're not gonna like that encebollado as much as you would like it over here in Portoviejo. Renting here is cheap as well. I've seen good, if not great, rentals for $200 to $300. And yeah, you can definitely argue that you can rent an amazing place in a tiny village that's off the map, and it's even convenient when it comes to proximity. But something like that comes with its own sacrifices. Tiny villages tend to have much less to do in terms of activities and fun, and when it comes to emergency services, it also puts you in a tight spot because since they tend to be secluded or far away, it's hard for the services to get there, and they don't have much services themselves in the actual city, or actually village. But I digress. The fact that Portoviejo has things conveniently nearby, amazing people all around you, food that cannot be matched anywhere else in the country, and things are just so cheap here, it all just makes Portoviejo the best city in all of Ecuador. And if you need to know more about this amazing city, then I'm happy to tell you that this is just part 1 of my series of videos about Portoviejo. Yes indeed, so as soon as the next video is ready, it will be right here, or maybe here, as the end card for this video. A huge thank you to my channel members and my Buy Me a Coffee members. Your support makes it possible for me to keep making videos like this, and I will always appreciate you. Thanks a ton for watching. Make sure you visit Portoviejo soon. And as always, Ace out.